Hmm. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. 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 Yeah. No. Okay, so listen. So far in the series, we've built some really cool things, but there's also a lot of not so cool things. Most of the builds are pretty separate and there's a bunch of empty area between them, and there are imperfections everywhere. So today we are going to fix that by fixing my Minecraft Forever world, adding terrain, more builds, and connecting the world as a whole. And to do that, we have a whole shopping list full of things to do. So first things first, let's get started on the interior of the castle. As you can see, it looks quite messy at the moment, but at least it's already hollowed out. That makes it a little bit easier. Here are all of the materials we will be needing, and we're gonna get started with the cobble deep slate, as that is gonna be the flooring. Hopefully this door doesn't fall down. Ah, no, yeah, it fell down, of course. Alright, that is the floor all done. Now we can start placing in the walls as well as some of the details. Okay, to start off, let's place in a frame for this door. Then we're gonna place some barrels along here, as well as some campfires, and then some scaffolding on the side, and then topping it off with some of the jungle trap doors. Okay, so I have taken some time to dig the rest of this room out, and it's really starting to take shape. I've also been putting the rest of the floor as well as the walls in, and they are almost finished as well. And now there's just this little chunk left to dig out. So let me get that done real quick, and then we can start on the fun stuff. Okay, the base shape is in, and okay, wait, hold on. Let me just deal with the skeleton real quick. All right, as I was saying, the base shape is in and it's all looking pretty good. I got the roof in as well, and now it is all ready for the finer details. To start off, we are gonna add a big table here in the middle, and it's gonna be made out of dark oak as well as these tough, polished tough stairs as corners. As for the chairs, we are going to be adding the mangrove stairs all around, and then the doors as the back of the chair. Alright, there we go. That looks pretty good so far. Now for some gold pressure plates as some fancy plates, and then flower pots as cups. And with these last two composters to look like something I don't really know, to be honest, we're all finished with this table. I think this looks quite nice. Moving on to the back of this main hall. So first up, we are going to build a sort of centerpiece here for the stairs. To be honest, this is something you could say doesn't really have a purpose, but I needed something in the middle, so I just added some barrels and chests as storage, and it ended up looking pretty nice. Next up on the list, we are going to build a throne, because, I mean, every castle needs a throne, right? And for this, we're just going to bring in some tough bricks. Then for the actual seating part, we're going to add some red wool and then a raw gold block at the top. And with just the last couple details here at the top, we are all done with the throne. I can definitely see myself sitting here. Okay, the throne is looking pretty good, and oh, what's going on here? Now we're going to dig this room out a little bit. We're going to first dig down, make a staircase into another room, which will be the actual map room. In other words, the room where we will have the actual world map. I'm thinking of having it as a big hallway where we in the future can expand it and have multiple maps showing the progress of how this world is going. Okay, the room is all dug out. Now we just need to get to detailing it. Starting off with some mangrove as the base of the pillars in the corners, then some of the mangrove stairs on top of that. And for the middle part of the pillar, we are using stripped mangrove logs. As for the map wall, we are going to bring in some warped wart blocks. And matching that, we're also going to use some of the stripped warped logs for the rest of the wall. And for the back of the wall where the map will be, we are also going to use some shroom lights to properly light the maps up. Okay, and that is pretty much it for the base components of this map room. Still need to get the roof in, but for now I am just going to copy this over to the other side. Alright, I am on my way back from getting the final components that we need to finish this map room. Just needed another chest here and of course a cartography table, which we will be needing for the maps. But other than that, the room is all finished. I copied the design over to the right side and finished off the roof as well. I left the back wall blank so that we can easily expand this for future maps as well. But for now, however, I want to get the first map in place, and to do that we need to... actually, what do we need to do? Right, okay, I figured out how to get the maps, and I was thinking if we establish the middle of the map, we can easily go off of that in the other directions. So I'm thinking that the middle can be right around here by the lumber mill. Now, if we just go in either direction, we will have a good baseline to go off of. Alright, as I was trying to put up the first few maps, I realized that I forgot the item frames, so let me take care of that real quick. Alright, that is a lot better. Now we can put in the first row of maps. Hello? It's not working. Is the item frame glitched or something? I can't even punch it. Oh, I can punch this one off. Hello? Oh, there we go. Just let me... Oh, finally, what? Okay, here we go. I figured out the strat. I know the strat. With the first few maps in as a guideline, we can easily finish this off. So I'm just gonna fly in some directions until we have all the maps we need. With the map all finished, and I think it's looking great by the way, we can swiftly move on to transforming this castle valley. Not much else to be said, let's start placing some blocks. And wow, this valley is looking fantastic. It is so much cleaner and makes so much more sense than before, if you know what I mean. And as you can see, I even included a path that will lead off to other projects, which I have actually started planning, but more on that in future episodes. With these two projects fully done and looking great, we can check two things off the list. This also means we can move on to the next project where I want to finish some interiors that I have left undone for far too long. And with that said, it is now time for interiors with Twizzy. Yeah, let's do some interiors. Alright, with that nonsense out of the way, we are going to start over here with the pumpkin farm. And the interior for this is going to be, well, I think I've mentioned before that it is a cafe of sorts, so we're definitely going to model the interior based off of that. And oh boy, it is going to be so nice to finally cover up this ugly farm. Starting off with the back of the room, we are going to start by adding a collection system, which will be holding all our pumpkins, which they're currently overflowing. There's a lot of them. So these extra chests are going to be really nice to have. The palette for this is going to be basalt and some deep slate, as you can see, really adding to this underground storagey kind of vibe. Working our way into the main room, the flooring is actually going to be the exact same palette, so once again using the basalt and the deep slate. Next up, I want to add a little staircase leading up to the door so that you don't immediately break your ankles when you walk through the door. Then we're also going to add some seating in the form of dark oak stairs, together with the fences, and then jungle trapdoors on top of that. And then also some planted pots in the corners in the form of cauldrons, some leaves, and then the pickles on the top. Finishing off the roof, we're actually gonna bring in some beehives and then the oak trap doors in between those. For the final part of this, we are gonna add a counter where you actually go to order your coffee or whatever. So we're just gonna build up a simple one here with some dark oak stairs and slabs, finishing it off with some bamboo pressure plates and a cup, and then an andesite stair in the corner to look like a register. If you're wondering what the oak logs in the back are, we're actually gonna put a sign on top saying menu, and then in the future I'll put in some item frames with pumpkins or some orange potions or something to look like pumpkin related drinks that we serve here. Okay, and with that we actually are done with the downstairs, so now we're just gonna quickly whip up the upstairs, which is sort of the dorm or like the living space of the people who work in the cafe. So first up, as you can see, we're building up this thing at the end of the room, which I don't really know what it is, but I needed something to cover up the pumpkins, and as you can see, the orange terracotta, which is decoration for the outside. And yeah, I just needed something to cover that up so it doesn't look as weird on the inside. So I came up with this thing that will have some just candles on it and stuff like that. Maybe it's a nightstand of sorts or like a shelf. But moving on from that, we also have the rest of the room, which is gonna be a compact little living area, as I mentioned. So we're gonna build up some bunk beds, for example, with these like pillars and or the bed ends, I guess you could call them, with some beds stacked on top of each other and some signs to look like railings. And then other than that, we're just gonna have some details like some lanterns for lighting. At the back, we're gonna have a desk, which you can't really see in this frame, but it's just basically like a desk with a few slabs. I put a composter in and like a little plant. And I think I included some barrels and chests like that for storage. I guess if they're selling coffee and other drinks, then they would need some sort of storage. But that's pretty much it. That wraps it up, and we are finished with the pumpkin farm interior. I think this interior turned out great. Yeah, it looks really nice, really cozy. Oh yeah, and over here, as I mentioned, I will have some like menu items like pumpkins or an orange potion. And then of course back here, the main purpose, having much more storage for the pumpkin farm. This is gonna be really nice. It was, as I said, overflowing. I had like 2 chests, and yeah, that's gonna be a huge help. And then of course the upstairs as well. I think it turned out great as well. Like, it's a really compact little area, but I think I did well considering how little space I had. Although, what is this block doing up here? Why is this here? Oh, it's part of the outside. Of course the block fell down on the other side. Swiftly moving on, the pumpkin farm interior is now finished, and like I said, I think it looks great. Now we're gonna switch our attention to this fisherman's house right next to it. And this actually built back in like episode 1, really long ago. And this is actually where I've kept this little guy, this little snowman. I've used him to get some like snow layers. I don't remember for what, but... Oh wait, yeah, actually it was when I needed the snow for the main base. Unfortunately, he cannot stay though, so we're gonna have to set him free. And come to think of it, I actually have a much better like snow kind of farm with another snow golem, so... Oh, I just turned around and he already left. He probably went for a walk. Alright, let's clean up the evidence and let's get started with this build. So for this interior, we are going quite simple. It is, like I said, a fisherman house, and he spends all his time fishing, so he will obviously need some place to cook it. So we're building up this island, I guess, of like some furnaces, smokers, where he can cook his fish and have a nice dinner. In the corner here, I just put down some barrels. I guess he needs a place to store his extra fish, or maybe his fishing supplies, like he needs some extra bait or a fishing rod. Whatever he needs to store, he can do it there. Next to that, I'm gonna put up some shelves in the form of just some spruce trap doors. And on the shelves, we just have some decorations, like I have this amethyst shard and then some couple flower pots with like an allium. And then I have some blue candles here as well for some decoration. Lighting, I mean, both. In the middle, I just have a simple dark oak table. He needs somewhere he can eat the fish. And then other than that, I just put the ceiling in. It's just a mix of the mangrove strip logs and some of the slabs as well. And then of course some lanterns for some extra lighting. Moving upstairs into the attic, this is actually where the fisherman sleeps because I couldn't really find any space down in the main room. As you saw, it's a really cramped area, so this was the best solution I could find. Starting off, I'm putting in the ceiling for this, which is just the same vibe as the rest of the building. It has like a deep slate trim and then the mangrove in between, which is now quickly covering up this view. So I'm gonna switch it real quick. There we go. This is a bit easier to see. Now it kind of skip past all the things I put in there, but it's really not that much. It's just some barrels, that's some extra storage, I guess, like, you know, a classic attic kind of thing. Along with that, some chests, some blue candles for lighting, and in the back you can see I added a bunk bed, a lot like the one we just did for the pumpkin interior. I guess if he has a friend over, then he has a second bed. Unless he doesn't need the second bed. Okay, before the sexual innuendos get out of hand, that's pretty much it for this interior, and that about wraps it up. Another interior complete, and I think this one is looking quite nice. Like I said, it's quite a cramped little area, but it has a really cozy vibe, and I think we did pretty well with it. Upstairs here, of course, we have the attic as mentioned, the sleeping area if you will, and even this has really nice vibes. But yeah, I think we did really well with this interior. It really adds to the whole vibe of the fisherman kind of thing. And now we're moving on from this over to this house over here. This is the farmhouse, also all the way back from episode 1, which we actually built also off cam, I believe, just like the fisherman house. And if you don't know, if you drop down here, this is actually where my sugarcane farm is. I think I mentioned this back in episode 3, yeah, last episode, but I don't think I showed it. I think I honestly forgot to edit it in, but yeah. Now it is time to spruce this place up, so let's get into it. A third interior in a row. I know I'm kind of getting sick of this as well, but don't worry, we'll make this a quick one. First up, we're sprucing up the little basement part here which leads to the sugarcane farm. Basically just changing up the walls, and on the inside we're adding some like barrels and chests to look like one of those medieval, very old like crawl spaces that they had like on the outside of the house, just like you see here with a small little crawl space in. I think that was basically like a fridge in medieval times. Moving up to the main room, we have a little entrance here where we're gonna put in a table with of course some decorations on top, like some potted plants and stuff. Next to that we have a little wall partition. This is because we're gonna bring in a kitchen on the other side of this. So we're adding in a sort of kitchen counter, some of the deep slate walls here as some pipes, also a shelf with some flower pots and stuff, and of course some furnaces and sort of a stovetop. Right off to the side of that, we're adding in a dining table, kind of an interesting design with some anvils and trapdoors. Thought that looked pretty good. Right above that, we have like the staircase up leading to the door that leads to the balcony. And last but not least, to quickly finish this off, we have a little bedroom with a carpeted floor. Then added in some bookshelves and the chiseled, no, not the chisel, wait, they're chiseled, right? What are they called? The empty bookshelves, basically. To add some variation, like some empty books and stuff. Along with that, of course, a bed, a barrel like a nightstand, a potted plant, and then a little reading nook with a little chair and a sign and a lectern. With the third and last interior complete, we can move on up to here where we're going to be building a forest. This area has looked very empty and honestly really bad for a while now, so I finally want to fix that by adding a lot of trees, terraforming it a little bit to look a bit better, and just fixing up the area as a whole. To do this though, we need a lot of materials, and specifically we need hella spruce leaves. So we're gonna move on over here and massacre some of these spruce trees so we can get a lot of leaves and of course the actual spruce as well. Alright, let's get chopping. Here we go. These are the things we're looking for. I think you need to shear. Okay, is it sheared? Shears. I mean, looks like it. Should have brought bone meal. Wait, I think I might have bone meal actually. Oh, I took it out of this box. Oh my god. Oh, there's some in here. Oh my god. Yeah, now I just have a flat surface to bone meal all this. Ah, it's tough being this smart sometimes. Wait, I could have just done this in the overworld. I just realized. Okay, that should be pretty much all the materials we will be needing. And without further ado, let's get this forest started. Wow, okay, that was a bit unexpected, huh? Let me know what you think about these, like, edits. Making these kind of crazy edits and stuff like that is something I really enjoy, so I tried incorporating it here, but I don't know, maybe it was a bit too out of place. Let me know in the comments. Regardless, it is now time to spruce up the area right above the forest, which is our industrial district, I guess? I don't know, maybe? I guess. Specifically, I want to transform the interior where the tree farms live, because currently it honestly kind of looks like caca. And yes, I know, yet another interior. No one is more sick of them than I, but trust me, believe, stay with me for just a bit, this one is worth it. Okay, and moving on to the interior of this tree farm, we are going to start first, actually we're going to start all the way out here, because here I want to put in a sort of, I don't know what you call it, an awning, a little outside ceiling. Basically, it's supposed to be a outside working area kind of thing, where if you can't tell, this is more of a industrial area, so we're gonna add a lot of things like stone cutters, blast furnaces, stuff like that. Starting off down here, we're gonna first add the support beams, if I can get on top of it. Nope, apparently not. Pretty simply, the deep slate walls as the base, and then some spruce fences as well. As for the roof here, I want to do sort of a striped pattern with spruce and this deep slate tile thing. Alright, something just like that will be perfect. Now just to add in a couple more support beams so that that one isn't holding this thing up on its own. Oh, alright, there we go. Actually, this one is a little bit in the way, I feel. I think I'm gonna move this one out here. Oops. As for the actual workplace in here, at the back I want to come in with some campfires to look like shelves, which will be held up with some trap doors, and then a couple of slabs on top of that. Just a quick second, as I naturally forgot to bring spruce stairs, so I have to go get those real quick. Please have, two. That might be enough actually, hold up. Okay, here I want to place in one desk or table, whatever you want to call it. Just like that, and I'll be adding some more details on top of it later. Just right now I'm lazy, so... And oh yeah, I totally need another staircase too, wasn't it? Okay, well, fantastic. Similarly, over here, I want to place in another one of these, as well as another slab, and then there will be a smoker here to like complete the table, but... Yeah, there's some components I haven't gotten yet because they're too annoying to get. As for over here, we're going to place in some scaffolding instead of the campfires to also look like shelves, but we also need barrels, I realize. Hopefully I brought... Yeah, I did. I want the barrels to be here on the side with some more trapdoors coming up along the top. All right, and something like that is a pretty cool little shelf as well. And right here, we're going to do something very similar, just a little bit of a smaller version. All right, and there we go. Other than the smaller details, I'll be adding on later at some point. We are all done with this little outside thing. Moving on quickly to the inside, which we're going to start here by changing out these ugly stone walls. And with a roof in and the rest of the walls almost filled in. This was kind of unnecessary. There's going to be something blocking it, so I left it like this. But here I'm just going to have like this outside storage area, I guess, where I'm going to place in some barrels, as well as include some campfires. Of course, extinguished. Actually, this one's not supposed to be there. And something like this with a couple of chests. I might alter this a little bit, but yeah, that's a general idea. I actually realized the thing I want to put in here does not block this wall, so I filled it in. As for this side, just like we did before, I just want to add in some shelves. This one will be in the shape of a couple, oh, not like that. But yeah, this one will be in the shape of the scaffolding with the same slabs on top and trapdoors along the sides. And over here, the campfires once again. And there we go. Just a nice little storagey outside area. Moving on to the inside area of the actual farms. I of course want to add in some flooring and roofs and stuff like that, but first we have to get rid of this old beacon. This has literally been sitting here since the, second episode? Nice. Now all of that is out of the way. Currently on my way to collect 3 acacia logs, because I need 3 acacia logs. Yep, that's it. Very successful mission. Very good. I like it. Why do I sound like Donald Trump? So I finished off this hallway bit as well as put in all of the flooring, making it a lot easier to know where the walls are going to go. And I have started putting in the floor. Oh, that's not the floor. I have started putting in the walls over here, which is going to be a simple basil and the deep slate in the background, sort of to look like pillars. This is once again supposed to be very industrial and a bit grimy, and yeah, I think it really works. As for the rest of the walls around here, I'm going to start off with the mud bricks that will transition into some packed mud. And at the top, we're going to finish off with some granite, really displaying where it kind of starts at the bottom as bricks and then has decayed or even fallen apart, I guess, over time. All right, and all the walls are in. And as you can see, we have a couple of holes here. And this is actually because I am going to bring in some pistons. Because if you can see, oh, that one's the wrong way. But yeah, this creates a really cool effect where it looks like a pipe in the middle, if you can tell. Now, this one is just going into the floor, but for example, over here, we're gonna make one that looks like it actually comes from a machine. And how are we gonna do this? Nope, there we go. Placing pistons the way we want them is the most annoying thing. Anyway, moving back to what I was talking about here, the pipe is looking like it's kind of, you know, twirling around here, and it's gonna be connected here to... I actually have to go get the materials for it. Yeah, as I was saying, we're going to place in actual looms because I feel like these look a bit like electrical generators or something, you know, like with the strings here. Very poor explanation on my part, but I think you get the idea. Clearly, my lingo is immaculate, as you can tell. Here, we're also going to place in the repeater and the redstone torch. And wait, isn't that supposed to light up? I guess it has to go into it, right? Ah, there we go. And now it looks like there's, yeah, well, some sort of... No. We are never mentioning that, you heard? I'm also realizing that it's getting pretty dark in here, so I want to be able to hang some lanterns, but to do that we need to get the ceiling in, and as you can see, I'm actually using daylight sensors, because these create a really cool, like the bottom texture of it, because obviously the top isn't too cool, but the bottom texture brings in a very nice texture that kind of looks like chocolate. All right, this is just typical. Here I am crafting up some dye, and I need 21 gray dye for 21 gray candles. And obviously, or like, of course, I run out of white dye, and I have exactly 20 when I need 21. It's so typical. Like, of course it happens to me. It's every fucking time, and I'm so sick of it. I hate this game. I hate Mojang. I hate every... Ooh, okay, don't worry. I've calmed down, and let's refocus, shall we? Okay, moving on to the lighting. I know I said I was going to use the lanterns, but I figured that the candles here are going to add a much more eerie... I brought shears instead of a flint and steel, crazy. But yeah, as I was saying, I think the candles adds much more of an eerie ambiance to the place, which I think really fits the construction work kind of area we're building. With that being said, I do want to add in some chains, so it's not completely useless that we put the ceiling in. Here in the middle, we are going to bring in a sort of workstation. So for that, we're going to have the auto crafters and the normal crafting tables in the middle. Then also extend the table with a couple slabs and stairs like this, along with a little pressure plate as decoration and a flower pot with the pale oak sapling, also adding to that eerie, creepy vibe. As for this table over here, we're going to bring in an anvil, next to it a stone cutter, as well as some more lighting in the form of the gray candles. And here we're actually going to add in an item frame with a book and quill. And I have this data pack installed where I can make the item frame invisible. It does actually sink the item slightly down into the floor or whatever, but this makes it look like it's just lying on the table, which is pretty cool. Continuing with this interior, we are moving on to this adjacent room where we are building a forge as well as some more storage here in the corner. This room is supposed to look a bit more like the behind the scenes working area, even though, I mean, I guess the front of it is as well, but here's where they do all the dirty work and maybe they smithing again. There's a creeper, by the way. Awesome. At least it didn't blow up. Continuing on from that, we also have this hallway kind of thing where we actually added some of the oak trap doors, sort of symbolizing some type of windows that you can actually look out of and see the farms, the nether tree farm that's right next to here, for example. All in all, this part is pretty simple. It's just a hallway to lead you into the storage room, which we will be starting on next. Said storage room is also going to be I guess not as much of a work area, but it will have some stuff growing, like maybe you saw that we were growing some nether wart over in the other room. This I included here as well. Not really sure what it's supposed to represent, but I just imagine it's some sort of herb or something that they make use of. Other than that, we include the classic barrels, anvils, brewing stands, all of that. The stone cutters, of course, supposed to symbolize also maybe they have a work station over here as well. But most importantly, the chests in the back, a bunch of double chests, which eventually I'll hook up a sorting system to. Just haven't gotten around to that yet. I am very bad at redstone, as you may know. And did I not tell you it was worth it? I think this interior is fantastic. I know it may not be the craziest thing ever, but I think, especially because I'm so bad at interiors, this one really came out well. I really like the pipes, which I didn't come up with that, I will be honest, but yeah, you might have seen it on like Beat Up's channel or something. All in all, I think this area came out really well. It really fits the vibe that I was going for, of the kind of like construction, stoneworker, blacksmith type of vibe. And I really enjoyed the fact that there's small details everywhere. Really makes it so wherever you look, there's something interesting to look at. And of course, the storage room, where there will be a storage room eventually, like I mentioned, I believe. Because going down all the way here to these every single time is, I mean, it's not that bad, but it will be nice to have some sort of like maybe water elevator, bringing up all the items here and then sorting them automatically into these chests. But we'll see when I get around to that. It's probably gonna be, yeah, I don't know, check in with me in a year or something. But yeah, this came out great and I'm really happy with it. Now, this leads me into something that I missed earlier, which is this water wheel thing here. I just kind of forgot to build it as we were building the forest, and it's a much needed addition as this side of the lumber mill was very empty. It was just a flat wall, so I just wanted to add in a little something, and since the river came through here, I was like, yeah, why not just a water wheel? I will also now show you a small time lapse of me building this. The most annoying thing was of course the copper, as it always is, but all in all, it did not take too long. Similarly, I also built a bridge connecting the top of the forest here to this piece of land over the valley where we can expand in the future. Alright, this surrounding area is looking way better now. The bridge came out really good, and as well as the water wheel that we just added over here. No. Now, only thing is I wanted this a bit more oxidized, which will, I guess, happen over time. I did not have the patience to put them all out in a field and just wait, so hopefully this will get a bit better over time. Of course, as I start recording this, it turns to night, but yeah, alright, let's sleep. And now, before we move on to making this area look a bit better, we are going to be moving on to this. If you remember all the way back in episode 2, we built the trading hall up here, and the staircase that leads down. It looks pretty good, I would say, but this part here looks really whack. I don't know, it just looks really stupid. It looks like one of those little pizza topper tables that they have to like to make sure that the lid doesn't like hit the cheese. Yeah, it looks really dumb. And also the mountain, I'm not gonna transform the whole thing, but it looks not great either, so I'm gonna start by, yeah, just a little bit now chipping away at it, making it a little bit more natural and stuff. So yeah, let's get started on that. I'm also going to be connecting it up to here, so there's more of a actual path to get up to the staircase. This is going to be a quick one, not a lot to build, but yeah, let's get into it. Coming down the staircase, this all looks way better now. Especially with the terraining done a little bit more, and this is coming down a lot more naturally. It looks so much better. With that being said, we can't actually see much of it now, so let's go out here. Yeah, the way it's structured now, it looks just so much more logical and makes so much more sense than before with, I don't know, I just had some stupid, like, just hole, like you saw it earlier. It looks so stupid. The only thing I would say is that on the map, it looks a little bit weird with this kind of shape going. It looks very thin. Like, technically, I guess it would need to go a bit more into the mountain and, like, not be as thin along this part, but hey, all in all, I'm not going to be looking at it from the map. I'll be looking at it from here, and from this angle it looks pretty damn good. Yer. Oh! It almost made me spill my Coke Zero. Okay, moving on. Now we're moving back to this area. We jumped over here briefly to fix up the staircase and the path there, like I said. But now I want to focus our attention back to this part here, which has been an eyesore for ages. Well, since I started the world, pretty much. I've thought a lot about what I would do with this, like should I just fill it in and make it like just flat or like a more of a cliffside? Or should I lean into it being like a ravine and just like dig it further? And yeah, I've been back and forth, but ultimately I've decided this is going to be a river. Burp. And along with that, we're gonna have a waterfall here that will stem from this mountain range here. Not only that, but the river will divide around here somewhere and actually continue down here. Where we're going to be making a bridge and making the terrain look a lot nicer down here as well. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get this started. I think it's going to look great. Well, I guess I know it looks great because I've already designed it. But without much further ado, let's start cutting down some trees. This area is coming together very nicely. As you can see, all the walls are in, or I guess we wouldn't call it walls, but cliffs, and as well as the river over here. I really like this palette with the mud being the bottom. It's going to look like a lot darker, a lot deeper than it actually is. As well as the foliage we have going on here makes it look very vibrant, and it will look a lot better in the future, or in a little bit we're going to add a little bridge here, which will tie this area together very nicely. And yeah, everything is looking pretty great, I would say. The only thing is this over here, I guess, which... hold on. Yeah, this is a bit of a mess. As you can see, there's definitely some plans for some cliffs here, as you might be able to tell. But that is actually going to come in a future episode. Then again, it does look pretty bad, so I might just put in these like at the bottom to make it look a little bit... we'll see. Back to this area, as I was saying, yeah, looks great. There's obviously one key component missing, as you might be able to tell. It is supposed to be a river, and there is no water, so... we should probably put some water in. There are, however, some other details and components I want to add. For example, you can see this field that I've kind of started planning here. There's going to be a bit of a potato field here, which I think will bring this together quite nicely. And along with that, there's going to be a couple like small sheds here. I want to add some more foliage, and once the water is in, there'll be like drip leaves and lily pads and whatnot. And like I mentioned, the bridge over here, we're also going to be putting in. And that's pretty much it. Once we have those components in, we can call this project finished. So I guess where we should start is probably just putting in the potatoes here. Finish off this little hill of potatoes, I guess. I don't have a good name for it yet, as you can tell. So yeah, let's grab some potatoes and let's get this started. Alright, the field is in, and it is looking way better with it all. Jesus Christ, why can't I fly right now? But yeah, it's looking way better. I would like having something here in the middle. It was looking very empty, and now it really ties this building into like the rest of the land. But yeah, with that finished, we can add in, well, one of the most important parts. We're just gonna need some more buckets for that. But yeah, we're gonna add in the water to the river, and let's see how this goes. Okay, not a bad start. Not a great start either, though. Let's see if we can grab some more water and maybe make a infinite water source over here to use. There we go. All right, this side is coming together a lot more nicely. Now let's see if we can do the same thing for this part over here. Water can be a very annoying thing in Minecraft, but right now I don't want to jinx it, but it is going pretty well so far. Probably I just fucked myself by saying that, but... Yeah, you know what I said about that whole jinxing myself thing? Yeah, I definitely spoke too early. Like, so the bottom layer of this is fine, and that was easy to get in, but the thing is, the water level needs to rise a couple of blocks, and it's not like I can't just build one big platform and place the water on top of that and let it fall down, because it's like cascading, right? It needs to go lower and lower and lower. So now I have to do some weird like platform going down. I don't know, this is becoming a lot more annoying than I first initially realized, and I definitely jinxed myself, and I hate myself, and you should also unsubscribe. Okay. Just kidding, of course, you should all subscribe immediately. Also, what am I talking about? This is easy. I have done way harder things. This is fantastic. Like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. It is so enjoyable. I'm enjoying myself. Yeah. Okay, all in all, that actually went pretty smoothly. A lot better than I thought it would. Yeah, this should be pretty easy from now on. All we have to do is fill out this part, and God knows that'll be easier than this part. You know what? This part was even fucking easy, so this will be a walk in the park. All right, let's get this finished real quick, and then we can get into a bit more of the exciting stuff. Okay. And with all the water in place, we can get started on the extra details that I was talking about. I just want to add some more foliage in the form of sugarcane and the drip leaves and stuff. And small side note here, I wanted to add a lot more small drip leaves, but man, they are so hard to find. Like, I went to multiple lush caves and all I was able to get is 19. Like, they're quite rare, and even when you do find them, there's like maybe 2 or 3 in a little bunch, but not more than that. And of course you can't like bone meal them, or you can bone meal them, but then they turn into big drip leaf and you're kind of fucked. But yeah, there's no way to farm them or grow them or anything, so I'm just gonna have to use these a lot more sparingly and add some like here and there where I really want them. And that's just gonna have to be good enough, because I can't be asked going to more lush caves. It's not worth it. But yeah, I ran over. Let's get started on placing some of these plants, I guess. No. No, 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 no. No! Bro. Wow, this place is looking way better now. We even put in the bridge here, as you can see, which we are aptly naming Dirt Bridge, because, you know, there's dirt on it. But I am really happy with this river. It's coming along really nicely. I really wish I had more of the what's it called? Yeah, the small drip leaf to add in, because you see, when they're in there, it looks a lot more full, a lot more vibrant, a lot more lush compared to over here where there's just these. And yeah, I don't know, maybe in the future we'll come back and add some more if we ever have the patience to, I don't know, hunt for hours for more of these things. But for now, this will do. I think it's looking very good nonetheless. And to truly finish this area off, we're doing the final thing. Weird to leave this to the last, but yeah, shit happens. Just to have something as you walk along the path here, you'll have a little, I don't know, point of interest, I guess. So let's quickly whip this up, and we can finally call this river area complete. And just like that, we are completely finished with this river area. We finished off these little sheds I was talking about, and I think they're really like little cute things that really add something to the side of this path here, and really adds to the whole farm area thing we've got going on here. I guess they're supposed to symbolize more just, yeah, general storage sheds with some tools out here. I really like this item frame mod I have installed, so you can put tools and stuff on tables. And yeah, it really adds to the whole vibe of the area, and I think it looks great. And the area in general, like I said, super happy with it. Looks really lush and vibrant. Once again, I wish I had more of the small drip leaves, but you win some, you lose some. Great flying, dude. All in all, I think it looks great, and we have done a fantastic job here, other than the side of this cliff, which I think I'll fill that in. I'm thinking about like the final montage if I'm gonna show like a cinematic of this area. I can't have just this ugly ass thing here. So yeah, I'll probably fix that up, but I won't bother you guys with that. Instead, we are going to move on to our final goal on this to-do list. Yes, you read that right. As strange as it may seem, it is time for this build to go. But not before I explain why. When I built this, I was a much less experienced builder. I have improved immensely since then, and I have realized that although I am still very proud of this build, it simply can't stay. It is too big, it is positioned too close to everything else, and honestly, some parts of it don't look very good at all. For these reasons, along with others that I can't reveal just yet, I sadly have to tear this thing down. Don't let this take away from the gratitude I have towards this build. It was the first mega project I ever did, and it is tied to the first proper video I ever finished. A video that got over 100,000 views and brought a bunch of you guys to my channel. In a way, this build and my appreciation towards it is my link to you guys and how much I appreciate everyone who's still sticking around, despite my terrible upload schedule. I believe I said this video will be out in June. Let's pretend I said July. Anyway, for these reasons and many more, I am sad to see this build go. But in the big picture, I want to build a world that is perfect in my eyes, and if that is going to happen, some things need to change. However, for those of you who really like this build, don't worry. There will be something that resembles it. Something we can look at and remember this build by, something better. For now, that is all I'll say. And as usual, huge thank you to everyone who watched this video this far. Despite it being weeks later than I said, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I know I say this every video, but expect more from me moving forward. Next video won't take 4 months. Surely not. Regardless, huge thanks again, enjoy the finale, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, what, like in a year?
Shut up, Jared!
I'm gonna die. I will not be surviving this. Oh my fucking god. Oh, what the hell just happened? Oh, my life flashed before my eyes. Holy sh- oh my god. I've never been so scared in my life. If we didn't do it properly before, it's time to say goodbye to this build. Man, it's hard to say goodbye, it truly is. See you on the other side, mate. No. I just set off TNT there. No. Oh my god. Oh. Didn't even do that much. Man, I'm gonna need so much more TNT. All my stuff is gone. Oh. All my stuff is gone, dude. My mending villager, it's all gone. Yeah, I know.